Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. The Young and the Restless spoilers. Kyle's grief passion with Summer after Claire presumed deceased. The Young and the Restless YNR spoilers reveal that Jordan Colleen Zenk is determined to get Claire Newman Haley Aaron away from the Newmans and restore the manipulative bond they had before. Since Jordan feels like the Newman family has corrupted Claire, she wants to untangle her from their rich, entitled web and put her on a different path. Some danger is brewing for Claire, who's glad to be free of Jordan and certainly want to go back to how things were growing up. Claire had a terrible childhood because of Jordan, but now she's got a wonderful life and is free to make all her own choices. Of course, Claire's relationship with Kyle Abbott Michael Mealer is a big part of that wonderful life, but Jordan didn't raise Claire to care about romance and will be eager to tear her away from him, too. Since Jordan stole Claire as a baby and made everyone believe she was deceased, maybe she could ultimately carry out a similar strategy now. Jordan might kidnap Claire and leave proof behind that makes it look like she's deceased. Perhaps Jordan will plan to take Claire far away from Genoa City and brainwash her again. Jordan may hope that once she gets Claire out of town, she can convince her to be loyal once more. What happens if Kyle ends up thinking Claire is gone for good? That could throw Kyle into a terrible sea of grief and leave him looking for a lifeboat to keep from drowning. Summer Newman Allison Lanier could step up to comfort Kyle if a situation like that plays out. It might even lead to Kyle surrendering to passion with Summer just so he can feel something other than pain in that moment. Naturally, that could bring some regrets for Kyle if he later finds out Claire is alive and in need of a rescue. Kyle might resolve to keep his grief-driven hookup under wraps, but the truth could come out anyway, especially if Summer winds up pregnant. Whatever the case, YNR fans can expect more star-crossed lover drama for Kyle and Claire, so we'll bring you more predictions on all the obstacles. The Young and the Restless spoilers say Jordan will cause more chaos in the coming weeks, so stay tuned for updates on all the alarming news ahead. The storm clouds of grief are closing in on Kyle Abbott, whose life will soon take a turn that leaves him spiraling in emotional turmoil. As the drama on The Young and the Restless unfolds, a profound tragedy strikes the Abbott family. Kyle's beloved daughter Claire is presumed dead. This sudden and heartbreaking loss of a child, especially one so innocent and full of life, will leave Kyle devastated, lost in a sea of sorrow and disbelief. However, as grief often intertwines with emotions that are difficult to manage, a complicated and explosive situation with his wife, Summer Newman, will ignite passions that neither of them may be ready for. The grief-stricken father. Kyle has always been a loving and dedicated father, and his relationship with Claire was the light of his life. As a young parent, he was deeply protective and endlessly devoted to his daughter, who brought joy and love into his world. So, when news of Claire's presumed death hits him, Kyle finds himself plunged into a state of grief that threatens to consume him entirely. For weeks, the once vibrant and determined Kyle becomes a shell of the man he once was. He isolates himself, unable to face the harsh reality of losing his daughter. The Abbott family is shaken to its core, and Kyle, usually a figure of strength, finds himself weak and vulnerable. His guilt, confusion, and deep sorrow push him further away from the people who care about him, and he is unable to process the depth of his emotions. What makes this even more difficult is the fact that Summer, his wife, is also trying to cope with the tragedy. Though she is devastated, Summer feels the weight of having to support Kyle through this dark time. The strain of losing Claire, combined with the emotional burden placed on Summer to hold their family together, leads to a friction between them. Instead of finding comfort in one another, Kyle and Summer find themselves becoming more emotionally distant as the grief continues to wear them down. Summer's unintended role. Summer Newman, typically a force of confidence and determination, finds herself in uncharted territory. She is usually strong-willed, focused on her career, and unapologetic about what she wants. However, in the face of Claire's death, Summer has to step into an entirely different role. She must put her own grief aside in order to be there for Kyle, offering him emotional support and the shoulder to lean on that he needs. But Summer is struggling too. The loss of Claire affects her deeply, especially considering how close she had grown to her stepdaughter. Summer's vulnerability shows in moments where she tries to comfort Kyle, but he is unable to open up to her. Kyle's refusal to engage with his grief in a healthy way causes frustration between them. She becomes torn between trying to comfort her husband and dealing with her own emotions that are left unchecked. Summer will eventually reach a breaking point, and that's when things will take an unexpected turn. Unable to break through to Kyle emotionally, she starts to seek comfort elsewhere. Her desire to escape the tension and the grief brings her into a passionate encounter with Kyle, a moment driven by the emotional whirlwind they are both experiencing. A heated passion amidst heartbreak. The tension between grief and desire, confusion and passion, creates the perfect storm for Kyle and Summer. In a vulnerable moment, both of them will be swept away by a powerful surge of emotions. What begins as a passionate expression of raw grief quickly turns into a complicated and charged encounter. For Kyle, this moment is a release. The walls he's built around his grief have been keeping him from feeling anything, from connecting with anyone. In this fleeting moment of passion with Summer, he lets go of everything. But once the moment passes, he will be left with a deep sense of guilt. His love for Summer is undeniable, but there is an inner turmoil now pulling him apart. Did he let his grief push him into an intimate moment with his wife out of a need for closure or simply an escape? Was it truly a shared moment of love and connection, or just a temporary lapse in judgment for Summer? The consequences of this passion are equally profound. She has always been a driven woman, but this moment marks a turning point in her relationship with Kyle. She understands the emotional weight he is carrying, and part of her knows that this passionate encounter is a result of his emotional pain. But as the reality of what happened settles in, Summer will be forced to confront the confusion she feels. She may wonder if Kyle's passion was truly for her, or if it was simply a temporary coping mechanism, a reaction to the overwhelming grief of losing Claire. The consequences of their actions. As The Young and the Restless continues to unfold, the aftermath of Kyle and Summer's heated passion will reverberate throughout their lives. The consequences of this intimate moment will not be so easily forgotten. Kyle's emotions will become even more complicated as he questions the true nature of his feelings for Summer. Does he still love her with the same intensity, or has the grief clouded his judgment? Will he be able to reconcile with Summer and rebuild their marriage, or will the emotional scars from the loss of Claire be too much for them to overcome? Summer, too, will find herself wrestling with feelings of betrayal, confusion, and loss. She may find herself questioning her role in Kyle's life, wondering if she is still the partner he wants. The passionate encounter may have reignited something between them, but it also stirred up a whirlwind of emotions that neither of them is prepared to handle. Can they move forward and heal together, or will this single moment become a defining chapter in their troubled relationship? What's next for Kyle and Summer? The future for Kyle and Summer is uncertain. The deep sorrow of losing Claire is something they both must grapple with, but it will undoubtedly affect their relationship in unexpected ways. As Kyle continues to grieve, Summer will have to decide if she can help him heal or if their relationship has been irreparably changed. Will they emerge stronger from the tragedy, finding a new understanding and connection, or will the passions sparked by grief lead to even greater distance between them? As The Young and the Restless continues, fans will be on the edge of their seats as Kyle and Summer navigate the difficult journey of loss, passion, and the complexities of love. Their relationship may never be the same after this, but whether it is strengthened or shattered will be a captivating journey to watch.